Today I am going to replace the brake pads on this 2010 Chevy Equinox. I will be using Duralast Max brand that I bought at the local auto shop store. The first thing we have to do is lift up the car and safely put it on top of the jack stands. Now that it's on jack stands, we have to remove the wheels. Here's the exposed rotor and the calipers. The first thing we are going to do is loosen up two bolts that are holding the caliper down. This one and this one. I'm going to be using a 14mm socket to get this done. They are now loose, so you can simply take them out with your hand. So there's one.
Leave it out there, Mom?
There's two.
Does.
When you first remove the bolts that secure it in place, the calipers will be applying quite a bit of pressure to the rotors. So you may have to put a screwdriver and just gently loosen some of the pressure by opening up the calipers. This doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. Once you do that, you will notice that the calipers will simply slide right off, and you end up with something like this. Your brake pads are still in there. We will take them out later. One of the things you want to do is make sure that you do not damage the hydraulic hose. So what I will be doing is securing the calipers to the strut. That way they're not hanging off of the hose. Okay, so this is what I did. I tied it to the strut, so now it's secured. Your old brake pads, you should be able to simply wiggle them out of place. One of the reasons why I'm replacing the brake pads now, not because they're completely worn out, but as you can tell, they're getting very close. The rotors are in excellent shape, nice and smooth. This is preventative maintenance. You replace them before they run out of pad, because then you end up with metal to metal, and you will end up having to replace the rotors as well, and that gets more expensive. These are the old brake pads, some couple old parts. The new brake pads, they come with all the accessories that you need. Now if you compare the two of them, as far as the amount of pad left, as you could tell, there's a big difference. And like I said earlier, if you catch it in time, it will both be cheaper and safer. If you wait until they run out, you run the risk of your vehicle not being able to stop and get into an accident. So here are the new parts, very easy and simple. The new clips go right in this area. You put them in and just snap them into place. Same with the ones on top. Using a very small hammer, I smacked them into place, so now they're nice and flush. Something that it did not come with is this plate clip looking thing, remember to place it on the back of the new pad. And it's very, very simple. It should clip right in place. Just like that. So do not forget to put this back with the new pads. Putting the brake pads back in place is actually very simple. However, I'm using just one hand so that I could record this. But it's actually very, very simple to do. It should slide right in place, just like that. So using one hand, I put it back in place. Now I have to do the other side. Okay, I have put the other pad in place as well. The next thing we have to do, since the new pads are new, they have a lot more material in them. They are not going to fit in between the caliper, so now the cylinder, we have to push it back into the caliper so it makes more room so that we could slide it over the new pads. What I will do is use a C-clamp to get this done. So what I'm doing is using the C-clamp, and you just have to be very, very careful not to overdo it. There's not a whole lot of pressure in the cylinder right now, so you just turn very slowly. You'll be able to see the cylinder retracting back into the caliper. This allows it to be able to slide over the new pads. So we'll keep on doing this, and I will show you how it looks like once it's done. Okay, well, there it is. Now it's flush, plenty of room. But like I said, make sure that you do not damage the rubber gasket around it. Do not over tighten or over tighten the cylinder. Be careful of the hoses and other components. Here's the cylinder. It's free now. What I will try to do is simply slide it over the new pads, and there it is. The caliper and the bracket, they meet right here. You want to make sure they line up. Once that happens, you get your 14mm bolt. You place it in here, and you should be able to feel it snap in place. Now it's secured. And we are going to do the same thing with the bottom side. This is actually very, very simple. As you can tell, I'm doing this with one hand. Now all I have to do is use the socket and the ratchet to tighten them back up. I took it back apart, the caliper back off real quick. I forgot to apply the grease, and the grease, you put it in areas where the brake pads make contact with the caliper. This allows for a smooth contact and prevents squeaking while you are driving or applying the brakes. So let's try this again. Okay, I have retightened the bolts, both of them. Everything is back in place. New brake pads, new clips. The other side is essentially the exact same process. Just repeat the exact same thing you did on this side, you do it on the opposite side. This side is done, It probably took about 10 minutes. It should take about 10 minutes. And now I'm going to do the passenger side. And like I said, it should be exactly the same process, same thing. Okay, they are all done. These are the old pads, and same as the other side, they're very worn down. So now it's time to put the tires back on. Once you remove the tires, it should take you really about 20 minutes to get this done. It does not take very long. Okay, it's done. Everything is back in place. Don't forget to tighten the lug nuts back up. And it's done. Fast, easy job.